Jai Sri Ram friends, welcome to Bharat Marg. Vinay Ji, political analyst, welcome to Bharat Marg. Today is a fantastic subject. We are going to discuss very important subject: hate and discrimination. Hindus are the new blacks of the West. Okay, we are going to talk about how the hate and discrimination is directed towards Hindus with the same intensity how it was done towards a black, towards the First Nation. That's the subject of the today. But friends, if you are here watching this video, please make sure to subscribe the channel Bharat Marg and press the notification button so that anytime we go live, you get informed with the title. So that if it is interesting for you, you can come and join, comment and join the conversation. And also please friends, like the video, comment on the video and share the video. Okay, do you agree or not? Vinay Ji, welcome to Bharat Marg. And hate and discrimination, see, hate and discrimination is not new for the West. They have gone from separate water cooler. You heard of these days. Where Martin Luther King talking about. I had a dream. One of the memorable speech, packing Washington D.C. Against the slavery, but same mindset same mindset, the same thing that is against the First Nations, whether it is Canada, whether it is US, wherever the whites, Abrahamic people are. You are talking about their attitude towards the indigenous community. Now, similar towards the Hindus, who better can talk to us about that? Okay, what do you say, Vinay Ji?
So yeah, I mean, this is not happening from yesterday or today. Hindus are new blacks of the West. Hindus and Indians, people of Indian origin, have had to face discrimination from way back. I'm talking Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. When he went to South Africa, he faced that. And then when Swami Vivekananda came to the United States to do his, a speech, when he delivered the speech in one of the most prestigious areas, podiums of the United States, he was discriminated, and he actually talked about it. And I've had people who've lived there for generations, and they talk about discrimination. And yes, the funny thing is, the irony of this whole thing, you cannot compare the diaspora, the Indian diaspora, to the blacks, for example, because Indian diaspora that has come in from India has been a very affluent community, I should say. They
In
have
fact,
been
more
extremely
than average.
successful. Extremely successful. They are one of the top-notch, people of ethnic origin who are doing very well in America. And in many parts of Europe as well. I'm not saying just America. In many parts of Europe, and the irony is, you'll see that when Idi Amin in Uganda actually started booting out Indians, right? Because at one point Indians had pretty much taken control of Ugandan economy, especially mainly the Gujaratis, and who had immigrated to Uganda.
Vinay Ji, sorry to interfere you. Time out. Okay, sorry to interfere you. Idi Amin was never against Indians. He was against Hindus. The Muslims didn't migrate out of Uganda.
I'm mainly talking about the Gujarati population.
Yeah, but they were Hindus.
They were Hindus, whatever. I'm okay, fine. We can talk about Hindus, Indians, Muslims, whatever, right? But I'm just talking mainly when I'm saying Indians,
Yeah,
I'm
but
talking Indians,
yeah,
but
but
we can focus on the Hindus aspect as well. And when Idi Amin booted them out because Gujaratis are mainly businessmen, they were doing really well. The economy of Uganda was at its peak. But what
Mhm.
he thought was they were destroying the opportunities for the local people, and he literally gave them, I think, 48 hours or 72 hours to pack their bags and leave Uganda.
or
And
else.
or else, exactly. And guess what? These people from Uganda did, the Gujaratis. They all moved en masse to Europe and to United States. And because they didn't have the money, power, the backing, and all the stuff that they had established in Uganda, when they moved here, they kind of started off really, at the bottom of the pit. But within a few years, they started owning gas stations, convenience stores, motels in the United States. And then the whole perception of these Americans, the white Americans, was okay. Oh, this guy is an Indian. This guy is a Hindu. So these guys are known for having a corner store, or a convenience store, or a motel. So that's how it was kind of attributed, and they started discriminating Indians and Hindus and saying that you own a motel, right? You
Yeah.
own a convenience store, right? And that's
Vinayji,
how it
Vi-
became. But
Vinayji,
then,
Vinayji,
yes.
U.S. sitting president, Vi- Biden, Joe Biden, said once, when you go to Dunkin' Donuts, you smell Indian.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to come to Biden. Actually, he's made some
Biggest
good.
racist you can ever see.
Yeah, he's made some good and bad comments. I'm going to come to that. But what I'm saying is, the perception of the Americans
Right,
was that Indian means that they either own a motel or a convenience store.
right.
So that's how it was. And even the same thing in Europe, in England, I have family there, and it's the same thing. They either owned Gujaratis owned motels or convenience stores. They call it corner store in England, and this is how it was. But the new set of immigrants that actually came from India, not from Africa, not from any other country, these guys I mean, they came from India. They moved lock, stock, and barrel here with a lot of education, with a lot of desire, with a lot of ambition and drive. And when they moved, their main goal was to get into education, universities. They became professors, they became businessmen, they became doctors, they became engineers, they went into NASA, they went into politics. And now the amount of Indians in this whole American, the North American continent has has increased so much that that everywhere. Like, look at
See,
Kamala
let,
Harris. Kamala
let
Harris is of
yeah,
Indian origin.
yeah.
Okay. And
But
she's
only
now the
thing
vice
is,
president of the United States. Look at the CEO of Microsoft. Look at the CEO of Google. Look
see,
at this,
okay,
all
okay,
these.
okay, okay. Vinayji, where I disagree with you,
Yeah.
where I disagree with you, I don't want to give a clean blanket called Indian. Okay, okay. Not Indians are successful. I am talking about Hindus. You talk about it. Okay,
I am
how many?
coming to that.
Okay,
I am just setting a ground
no,
for
no,
this
no,
whole
no.
thing.
No, no, let me ask you a question. You are talking about top CEOs, okay, from India. How many
Correct.
are Hindus and how many are non-Hindus?
All of
Okay,
them are Hindus.
okay, that's it. I make my point.
All of them are Hindus.
Okay,
There are no non-Hindus there. So,
okay, I
but
made my
but I'm
point.
but I'm let me go back to your question. Now I'm just going to digress for a quick second.
Uh-huh.
So I think you heard of Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, Carnegie Foundation, right?
Mhm.
So they did a survey on the Indian Americans, which is the second largest immigrant group in the United States, and the population has swelled to 4 million. They wanted to know, have you faced discrimination? What would you think this survey answer would be? How many people let's say 1 in 10, 1 in 9, 1 in 8, one every, or how many people do you think have said that they have faced discrimination in the United States, or 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000?
Maybe 1 in 100.
No. That's where your topic is very important.
Hmm.
1 out of 2, 50% of them said they have faced discrimination. Can you believe that?
Absolutely.
This is the fact. And this is where we have to, make sure that people don't say, oh, look at the Google guy, look at the Microsoft guy, look at the VP. They're all Indians. How can you say there is discrimination in the United States? My friend, you are living in a world of dream. Look at the Carnegie Foundation's survey. And Carnegie Foundation is a very well, you know, it's an authority on these researches. And their survey
Absolutely.
says 1 out of 2 people of Indian origin, Hindus, whatever you want to call, they
No,
have
no, I
faced
don't know.
discrimination.
Yeah, yeah, not whatever I want to call. Okay, not the Indians. It's a Hindus. Okay, are the most
Now,
successful. The Hindus were discriminated in India, in UK, by even by the Rakshas from from India. Okay,
that
so
is the irony that is happening. I mean, not
you know,
only the
one second.
population. Yeah.
1 second, Vinay Ji. And coming to your point of discrimination, many times people think discrimination means just like that. It is not. Okay, let me say you one form of discrimination which you commonly find in America. Okay, many people are jealous, sheerly jealous, because if you take Mercedes Benz, more owned by Indians. If you take BMW, more owned by Hindus, right? I mean to say Hindus, Hindu community owns a Mercedes Benz more, Hindu community owns a BMW more. Okay, because they are doctors, some of the top engineers, some of the top CEOs, their average income is pretty higher than the average income of the uh, country. So wantedly you see some people throwing stones on their cars, throwing stones on the windows. These things do happen because of the jealous.
You're so right. Actually, recently, March 2021. I'll go back to March 2021, just about a year ago, right?
Mhm.
United States President Joe Biden was on a phone call with a person by name Swati Mohan,
Mhm.
Indian origin scientist who was in charge of the Mars rover project with NASA. Okay, and you know what the comment from Joe Biden was? Oh, it's amazing. Indian of descent, eh? He said, you're an Indian person of descent, correct? Americans are taking, you guys are taking over the country. You, my Vice President Kamala Harris, my speechwriter Vinay, of Vinay Reddy, the Indian American writer, you guys are incredible. But what was his message there? He was trying to say that all these are of Hindu origin. Kamala Harris is of a chaste Tamil Hindu origin. Her mother was.
Converted.
Vinay Reddy is Hindu. Swati Mohan, another Hindu. And these people are taking over. But even Joe Biden, the way he made that remark, it was not because he was proud of it, because I think he had some
He
jealousy
is the
or what
biggest
is it?
racist ever. ever.
Exactly. But he had no choice because these guys are already in those positions and he cannot kick them out. So he just
And and
said it.
and Joe Biden's another statement,
Mhm.
very famous one. They will put you in shackles. He told the
Yes.
blacks when he was addressing
Yeah.
about the Republicans. He said they will put you back in shackles.
Right. So now, the other thing that is going on is with the when you talk about discrimination, many of the discrimination is not coming from the ethnic population of America, which means white Americans, or ethnic population in Europe, which is the white population. Surprisingly, other immigrants from other groups, religious
Okay.
groups. Okay, I don't
Just
want to name names,
no,
and
no. You
I'm
don't
sure
need
you're
to.
going to name names.
Sanatan versus Rakshas.
Okay.
Okay.
So these people surprisingly are discriminating Hindus. They for all you know, those guys could also be from India. And this is where we've got to draw a line about Hindus from India versus other groups, religious groups from India. They are
Kafirs.
discriminating. They are discriminating against the Hindus. And although they are Indians, they're all Indians,
It doesn't
because you are
matter.
not part of my religious group, I'm going to
No, no.
discriminate you.
Because you are a kafir.
Exactly. And this is what is happening. And guess what is going on with the American community? They actually support those people and not the Hindus.
Yeah, because
Same thing in
Abrahamic
Europe.
and Abrahamic, bye.
Exactly. Now, if you recall, just about a few months ago in United Kingdom, in Leicestershire, a Hindu temple was attacked.
Yes.
Okay, a Hindu temple was attacked, and guess what? The British police, mostly white people, they were all standing there watching what was going on. They did not even do anything when the people from other religious group were actually desecrating, vandalizing the temple,
Absolutely.
and even
But
actually assaulting the people in the temple.
absolutely.
Nothing was being
But I want to add one thing to that
done. Mhm.
about a group of whites, okay, who did something about it.
Yes.
Okay, that is, because we cannot paint everybody in a broad brush. You know, we have to talk about BBC. The police was standing idle; they were watching, but BBC lied through the nose.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Talk about that. How the BBC reacted.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is what is going on. I mean, like, and you have seen recently many of the temples here in Canada, actually, for
Mhm.
example, they have been desecrated, vandalized. I mean, recently, Swaminarayan temple, somebody went and painted all kinds of graffiti on the temple walls and temple, the building inside. And guess what happened? Nothing has been done about it. What has the police done about it? Nothing has been done about it, because this is how things are.
Because Khalistanis are the second form of, they work for their slave master, jihadi slave master, right? Who in turn are bai with the Gora.
Correct. Now,
So
now, if it had happened in a gurudwara, or
Mhm.
if it had happened in a mosque, and let us say hypothetically, which Hindus would never do, but let us assume for argument's sake, a group of Hindus, radical Hindus, went and desecrated the mosque or desecrated a gurudwara. Do you think the police, the politicians, and all these people would have kept quiet and said nothing about it? They would have made a big fuss about it. Oh my God, there is so much discrimination here. You're marginalizing a community, this and that. And, we've got to arrest these people. Within 24 hours, about 100 Hindus would have been captured and put in the prison and sentenced to whatever, to 10 years in prison or whatever. But now, look at the irony. It has happened in Hindu temples. Nothing has been done.
And how many Hindu temples have been broken in,
Exactly.
looted?
That's what I just talked about, right? In the Toronto, Greater Toronto area, more than 10 or 12 temples in the just last 8-10 months, maybe 12 months, they have been vandalized, they have been desecrated. And this is the unfortunate part. And the most recent one being the one that was vandalized by Khalistanis, the Swaminarayan temple.
Yeah, means all of them pretty much,
Yeah.
because they are the handmen of, they cannot think by themselves, they work for the jihadis.
Oh God, yeah, they get a lot of funding from Pakistani and from Middle East and whoever, and it's all a money making racket. I'll tell you
I
that. End of the day, this is all a money making racket, and really, there is nothing called as a Khalistani, whatever. The belief and whatever. I mean, I have a lot of Punjabi friends, and we talk to these people, and they're hardly, they're God fearing, and they respect the people, they respect the society, and these are the Sikhs, the real Sikhs. But the Khalistanis, the real Sikhs don't even consider Khalistani as real Sikhs. I don't know if you know this. I was talking to one of my friends who's a staunch Punjabi, staunch Sikh, and this person said, no, 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 those people are not Sikhs. They're something else. They're something totally different. We don't even respect those people.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the fact.
I want to give two examples, Vinayji, if you want to throw light on them, right? I want to give two examples. One is about a gentleman by name Ron Banerjee. Okay,
Okay.
Ron Banerjee, called one of the Justin Trudeau was having a lunch in one of the Pakistani restaurant, and he shouted from outside. Okay, he's having lunch in the terrorist restaurant. I'm not supporting this by any which means, but this is an incident that happened.
Hmm.
Okay, then the court case went for defamation right away, and he has to pay either $1 million or apologize. Okay,
Hmm.
and second, that he apologized for it. Okay, and then he was beaten up in one of the Khalistani meetings where he was against the Khalistanis. He was beaten up right in front of the police, right in Toronto. Okay, can it
Okay.
happen to any other community? I'm not supporting or opposing. Okay, I'm just saying this is the incident that happened. Okay, now
Yeah.
now, the third incident I want to come to is about Deepavali garbage that was left out. You know how
Mhm.
the Khalistanis and came there where the Hindus were firing for Deepavali. The Khalistani goons came, and they started making hangama. The police came, they were separated, and then that was used to ban Deepavali firecracker bursting.
Yep.
Can they do this to any other religion? This is my question to you.
No, this is the fact that's happening, and I totally agree with you because it's for example, um, I'm going to talk about school boards. Okay,
Hmm.
in school boards, the Khalistanis, there are certain elements who are actually teachers, who are administrators in the Peel District School Board, for example, and these guys are in office of authority, right? And they actually let Khalistanis actually post this. They did a referendum recently. They posted those things, and when farmer protest was going on, in India, they were allowed to post about the farmer protest, about the Khalistani cause, and all that stuff in the school board among the kids. And guess what? And they have the Sikh Heritage Month and blah blah blah, all that. And now, when you're talking about the same thing when it applies to the Hindus, they obviously don't give them that kind of platform. They do not give them that kind of platform to talk about their own religion. They don't want to give them anything. But whereas during the Sikh Heritage Month, they bring in all these people. I mean, recently, I'm not kidding you, but just about a few months ago, during the Sikh Heritage Month, they brought in a radical speaker who actually spoke about Khalistan and all that stuff. But imagine if some Hindus would they give that kind of platform to a Hindu person in a school board? This is what is happening here. And this is why it's a systemic problem which has to be eliminated. And I don't think Justin Trudeau is the right person to do this. I think we need somebody else to come in to power and be able to give, you
Absolutely.
talk about equal opportunity, equity, equality, equanimity. Please make sure that you do not discriminate against Hindus, do not discriminate against
They
our
like Hindu
religion.
tax money.
Exactly, because it's all about vote bank. It's all, end of the day, the entire world is dependent on votes. Whether it's Muslims, whether it's Khalistanis, Sikhs, or whoever, right? They kind of play the game and get the votes, and that's it. And they don't mind discriminating anybody or marginalizing anybody.
You know,
Doesn't.
I just want to give one quick example, and I want to take your input on it as we wind off. Okay, they are brainwashing Hindu children in the school. Okay, for the people to know. One of the families who called me said their kids are taken by the English teacher in Ontario, and she kind of like you see in the Kashmiri Files, right? How the brainwashing happens. Kashmir Files movie, you know how she is
Yeah,
doing the brainwashing.
yeah.
Same way, when he said when they were talking, they said we are Hindus. He said don't say we are Hindus. They asked what is the problem in saying Hindu. He said the kid, okay, who was a ninth grader, okay, he was saying, no Hindus kill other people. Who said this? My English teacher said this. My respected English teacher said this.
Wow.
Okay? And the kid is so much brainwashed and doesn't want to listen to the parents.
Hmm.
And he is so afraid and ashamed of calling himself a Hindu.
Wow. Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, like, yeah, this is exactly. I'm in total. Yeah, yeah. When I hear these kind of things, it just boils my blood, because they they're not only discriminating against the Hindus, but they're also brainwashing these Hindus. And my kids come home and from school, and they say, oh, my teacher said that the Sikh community is this, Sikh community did that, because we listened to these guys speaking about the Sikhs, and why don't people come and talk about Hinduism in the same way? And what's going on? This is the problem, because nobody talks about the true about the Vedas, about the scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita. But when you bring up those kind of topics, they say, oh, no, 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 this is not right, because it becomes too religious and whatever, and we don't want to do religious discrimination. But they let the Khalistanis and the Sikhs, they come and talk about their
And
Guru Granth
jihadis.
Sahib, and the Muslims talk about their the whatever the Quran's scripture, I mean, stuff from Quran and whatever, right? But they're allowed to do that. However, the Hindus are not allowed to do that. And so that is why I'm saying it's a systemic problem that's happening in these countries, which has to be stopped. I mean, we did an episode last a few weeks ago about how the Muslim population is taking over United Kingdom, for example, and other parts of the world. And you heard about, I mean, you saw that, and you people walked away with a lot of information, how the ethnicity is changing in these countries.
Absolutely. But anyway, it's unbelievable. I want the viewers to say what they think. Okay, do you agree that Hindus, the hate and discrimination towards Hindus, and Hindus are the new blacks of the West? Do you agree? Disagree? Comment and let us know your opinion. And it was great talking to you, Vinay Ji, and looking forward to see you again. And you always are the best. You come in and pour your heart. You do the studies, and want to appreciate it really. Okay, thank you again. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Ji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.